What's up, everyone? Welcome back for a new edition of Collider Ladies Night. Collider Ladies Night. Collider Ladies Night. Collider Ladies Night with
Michelle Rodriguez for Dungeons and Dragons.
Iowa Debris.
Welcome, Catherine Newton, to the show.
Welcome, Millie Bobby Brown to the show. Ella Purnell, Renee Rapp, Haley Atwell, Christina Ricci. Welcome, Storm Reed to the show. Rachel Zegler. Welcome to Ladies Night. Peyton Liss.
Lizzie Broadway from Gen V. And this is your first interview ever.
I'm like, should I lie? I should lie. I'm not nervous at all.
Ooh, that's a great question.
I thought we've met before because I've watched so many of your interviews and you're so wonderful.
I can be worthy of being here and also be a beginner, and both things can exist at the same time.
I didn't know what I was auditioning for.
Oh, that's true.
But when they said it was Mandalorian, I'm like, okay, that's the one with the baby Yoda, right? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, I want to be on that.
Melissa Barrera, hello. I am so beyond thrilled to have you on the show. Melissa Barrera is here.
With this edition, Melissa Barrera becomes the first Ladies Night third timer. That's a big deal.
That is a big deal. I feel very special.
You are welcome back to Ladies Night anytime.
Thank you. I love Ladies Night.
Hello, everyone. Ooh. You're the best. This is wild. I'm Perry Nemiroff. I'm the host of Collider Ladies Night, and I cannot even begin to tell you how much it means to me to bring Ladies Night here to Ballroom 20. Many, many years ago, one of my first Comic-Con experiences ever was standing in this particular line for hours and hours and hours. And then years later, I have this show that is my absolute baby, one of my greatest professional joys ever, Collider Ladies Night. And we get to do the first ever live edition here in Ballroom 20 at San Diego Comic-Con. So thank you for being here and for being a part of it. So for anyone out there who doesn't know what Ladies Night is, I think you're in for a real treat today, because one of the big priorities of the show is to give you a really intimate and impassioned look at the reality of being a filmmaker and an actor and a director or anything in Hollywood. And we're so incredibly lucky because 3 of my favorite people in this business were kind enough to agree to talk about their experience with me on stage today. I'm so excited to introduce them right now. First up, someone who is now part of 3 of the biggest franchises out there: Star Wars, Marvel, and Mission Impossible. And then on top of that, she's also in one of my most anticipated sequels of all time, a movie that is currently just crushing it at the box office, Twisters. Please join me in welcoming Katy O'Brian. All right, next up here is someone who is partly responsible for one of my current greatest obsessions. During our Ladies Night chat recently, I feel like I spent half the interview looking at her and being like, how are you able to do that? How are you so talented? Your work is just next level stuff. Please join me in welcoming Erika Henningsen from Hazbin Hotel. Now our last guest, I did save for last because she is a Collider Ladies Night record holder. You saw in that video. She is the first person to be on the show 3 times, and with this appearance right now, that makes 4. And I will tell you, shows like this cannot exist without people like her who are willing to support them. So it is my great honor to welcome Scream, Abigail, your monster star, Melissa Barrera, to the stage.
Chivalry is not dead. Thank you. Yes.
Okay. So, if you are aware of Ladies Night, you know that it begins with a game called Dicey Questions. The dice tower is not here because it would feel silly to have such a small dice tower on the stage. I don't know how this is going to work either, but instead, I bought a comically large die that we will roll. So, we're going to do 2 questions today, and all 3 of you have to answer them. Who wants to try to roll this on the stage?
Seems heavy.
Katie, it's you.
Oh, okay.
Everything about this feels dangerous right now.
Stage? I just feel like
It's gonna fall.
I know.
I'm gonna make sure that it doesn't. You roll it. Roll it.
Oh, we're going for it.
Here we go.
This is the enthusiasm I like. What do we got? Three, my lucky number. All right, this is a good one for here too. This is called conventions. I know all three of you frequent the convention circuit, so I want a convention memory right now. Can you each recall the very first time at a fan convention where you stopped and went like, wow, this needs to be a regular part of my yearly roundup now?
Ooh. I feel like the first time I saw a ton of cosplays of the character I play in Hazbin Hotel, they like descended in a mass. There was 7 of them dressed in full Charlie, like face paint, cosplay, red suit. And that's kind of surreal. It's like seeing a version of yourself repeated 7 times out. And then they all sang at me.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. You're like, scary or entertaining? Heartwarming, heartwarming.
I like that one. You better get used to it because the more that show goes on, the more and more Charlies you're going to see every day.
Yeah.
How about for the two of you? A time a fan came up to you at a convention and it meant a lot. You wanted to keep coming back for more.
Well, this was it was actually my first time going to a convention. It was New York Comic Con, and my friends and I dressed up like Archer characters.
Nice.
And then we ran into other people that were just other characters from Archer, and we just became friends because we were dressed like the same show. And I just feel like that's kind of a fun little spirit of convention. And then I just was like, I want to do more of these. And then luckily I get to not pay for it.
It's truly one of the best parts, though. It's finding like-minded people that are just as passionate about things as you are.
Yeah.
For me, I started going to conventions this year, actually. And I went to my first one in March. It was Planet Comic Con in, where was it? Where's Planet Comic Con? Why am I blanking?
I can't help you.
Anyway, Planet Comic Con, go there. It's cool. Wherever it is in the world. I'm trying to think, it wasn't Atlanta. It was some other place that sounds like Atlanta.
It's the
Whatever.
the fun part of just traveling all the time and not knowing.
They kind of blend.
Yeah, I had no idea. I only saw the convention center, so the hotel and convention center for the 3 days that I was there. So, they had good barbecue. Anyway, sorry, I go on tangents like that. What was the question? Oh, why do I love conventions? Because, and I slept. You didn't sleep, and this is me right now. I was there, and I just loved seeing and talking to the fans and how much, whatever show or movie that I've been in, how much it means to them. And I loved seeing generations of families come together as a family tradition. It was just such a beautiful thing to witness, and the grandparents and the parents and the kids and then the babies, and it was so beautiful, and I felt so loved, and it was just, I think these are just such loving environments that it's good energy, in this business where you don't always, you're not always in the best mindset or in the best energy. Going to places like conventions really like fills your soul. And so I was like, how many more can I do this year? Just take me to all of them.
Sign up for all of them. I have a feeling everyone will be showing up. All right, we have to roll again. Do you actually want to roll again, or do you want me to pick a random one?
No, we're going to roll.
Roll, let's roll.
Yes.
Okay.
We're going to take the long way.
And I'm just going to observe.
I love how we're getting exercise during the panel. Oh, no.
And then drop. Oh.
What do we got?
Five. It's a beautiful number.
Isn't it? It's good. No,
I'm like getting all excited about the fact like I'm playing Dungeons and Dragons, and you guys are like 5. Yeah. What does that mean? I'm like, yes, a 5. Like, I don't know what it means.
So this one is a ladies' night staple. Erika, you kind of have the advantage here because I know you've done this before.
Okay.
It's my would you rather question.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, would you rather have to fake sneeze or fake vomit in a scene?
Fake sneeze or fake vomit?
Fake vomit?
Yeah.
Fake vomit, 100%.
Did I answer this?
I think you picked fake sneeze.
Yeah, we'll stick with that.
I think fake sneezing is hard, actually. I think it's harder to do that realistically.
Can we try?
No, I can't do it. That's why I choose to vomit. See, let me vomit right now.
Okay.
Done.
Yeah.
See?
I really don't like when they like do the vomit, when you see it. I'm always like, what is that? What is that? Have you ever had to do that?
I vomited a whole human being in my last movie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I loved it. It was so much fun. Like, normally not a fan of vomit, but in the instance of doing it for fun and fake, like when it's bananas, that just mushed up bananas, and then when it's Kristen Stewart, it's so much fun.
Yeah. So vomiting in that context, yes.
Yes.
We choose that.
Otherwise, the sneeze.
Otherwise, the sneeze.
All right, so that's not the only dicey question rolls we're going to do. I'll tee up and I'll tell you when you can line up for the mic. For our audience Q&A, we're going to do something a little special, and we're going to play dicey questions with some of you. So hang tight, and I'll tell you when to line up at the mic, and we'll get as many people to play as possible. Right now, let's get into some early career questions. This is one of my favorite questions to ask because I feel like there's so many people that are so curious about what it takes to get into this industry. Can you each tell me what you thought the first step to becoming a professional actor was? And then, now having done it, is that step something you would recommend to somebody else?
Ooh, I don't even know.
For a while, I thought it was like be discovered while you're waitressing at a restaurant.
Yeah.
You know, because you hear of those stories of like those big actors that were like discovered by someone who saw them while they had like a retail job, and they were like, I'm gonna make you a star, and it happened. So I was like kind of going through life waiting for that to happen to me. It never did. It never did. Just go to school, work hard, and audition for everything, get together with your friends and, create things. And then eventually, I actually do believe this, that eventually it will happen for you. It just, everyone's timelines are different. So if you compare your timeline to someone else's, you might give up before it's your time, but it might have been like just around the corner.
Yeah, I feel like, especially being young, there's such power in the word no that we're learning. But at that age, when I started, like I was just saying yes to everything. Obviously, that was safe and good. But I just said yes to the tiny things. I said yes to working with people on stuff that was never seen by anybody. It was just for the creative output feeling. And then you just never know. I feel like this world is big, but you run into one another all the time. And I'm not sure if I knew that was a piece of advice I was giving myself, but it did end up paying off, which is continue to be kind, say yes to people, put yourself in rooms while you are young and like have the energy to be there, because you just don't know where people are going to circle back and pick up from. So that was something that I think helped a lot.
Yeah.
Now I'm so tired. I'm like, I'm going to say yes to that. Okay. No, I love it.
Yeah, I don't know, like coming from the Midwest, I just assumed that you either had to know someone or you had to go to Juilliard or something, I don't know. And then I think coming out to Los Angeles, I realized how important the business side of things was too. And I'm really type A and I love paperwork and I love doing stuff like that. So I felt like, okay, at least that part I can do. And then it's worked out for now.
One of the most important things about Ladies Night is just overemphasizing the fact that every single path in this industry is different, and every path is great as long as it's the path that best suits you. Yeah. Digging into specifics with each of your paths right now, Melissa, I'm going to start with you because I think this was our first Ladies Night ever, you were telling me that there was a point when you specifically decided to start working in Mexico and then would transition into Hollywood. Now looking back, how do you think that's served you well over the years?
I mean, I think once you pick a path, you have to make it the right path, because otherwise you're going to be miserable. So I was in school in New York, and I started seeing how actually hard it was going to be for me as a non-US citizen to get a job and get papers so that I could work. Like it wasn't for the longest time, I had just dared to dream, and I just thought that it was all gonna work out. And then as I was in school, I started seeing the reality of things, and I was like, oh, maybe I'm gonna graduate and I'm gonna have my year of OPT, which is the year that they give you on your student visa to try and get work and get some experience. But after that year is over, if you don't have someone that vouches for you and helps you get a visa, then you're done, you're back. So I was like, I don't wanna feel that feeling. And maybe what I'm gonna have to do is go back to Mexico where I can work, because that's where I'm from, and just kind of start there. And so once I kind of started thinking about that, I started convincing myself that that was the right thing to do. And so I did. And I did that for 6 years. I was in Mexico, and then after 6 years, I was like, I think it's time to try again and go to the States and see if I can make it happen. And luckily, because there's a lot of luck too that you have to acknowledge. It's hard work and it's showing up and all of that, but it's also luck. So I think I was there at the right time. I trusted my gut, and then I got Vida, which was my first job in the United States. Thanks. And thank you for watching that. It's on Hulu, I think, or in Netflix in Mexico, but yeah. Anyway, go watch it. Shameless self-promotion. We got to do it. And yeah, so I think I think it was the right path for me. I don't regret it at all. I do wonder sometimes if I had just stuck it out in New York and been a theater girly and tried for Broadway, maybe we would have known each other first.
Well, we're meeting now, and this is better.
Yeah.
This is better.
But you just make it the right path, and then you make it the best life that you can make.
Have you seen Problemista?
Oh, Problemista's so good.
So good. It's so good.
So good.
Has anyone out there seen Problemista? Yeah.
So good.
If you haven't, please go look that up after this panel.
Yeah.
Also, we like manifesting things on Collider Ladies Night, so if the two of you ever want to do a musical together, we're going to speak it
We will.
right now. Yes, please.
We are manifesting it right now.
I'll stick with Broadway for a minute because, Erika, I feel like a lot of people might think if an actor has success on Broadway, it's probably easier to transition to screen work, and that's not always the case, but maybe sometimes it is. So I want two parts to this. Can you tell me something about, the success of a show like, let's say, Mean Girls that helped you get more screen work, but then also what is a bump in the road in making a transition like that you didn't expect to hit?
Yeah, I feel so lucky to Mean Girls because the brand of the movie was so popular already. So there's something really special when most of the time in a musical, the audience is like, all right, I spent a lot of money and I'm about to be here for 2.5 hours. I hope this is good. For Mean Girls, they're already excited because they know the story. So that just felt like such a gift because the show was given this love before we even did anything. And then I think the writers elevated it to the next level with how they musicalized a story that people knew and loved already. And then also, the thing that was really special was they introduced it to the next generation of young people. And I think the message got a little tweaked between the movie and the musical about being a lot more about not everybody has to be best friends, but you just got to respect one another. And I feel like that really rang true for sort of the Gen Z audience members who were coming because they're smart. They know that we don't all have to hold hands and get in a circle, but we do need to treat one another with respect. So that was really exciting. I feel like that helped tap into a young audience, and that audience is a big part of television and film watchers these days. So I think that is what sort of helped. I think that's how Mean Girls helped me because we did capture this young viewing audience. But I think the bump in the road, for me, the bump in the road more comes on a personal level of I love things that are, I love the routine of theater. I'm not an athlete. I wish I was because I was watching the Olympics this morning while we got ready. It was wild, y'all. The opening ceremonies was wild. Lady Gaga was dancing with feathers. It was insane. And I was I wish I was there. But I grew up loving athletics because I liked the element of being on a team. And for me, the difficulty of going from theater to TV or film is that you are on a team, but you're kept a little more separate. Like, you kind of show up in your trailers. It takes a second to meet everybody. Things that happen in post-production you're not really a part of. Whereas in theater, you start on day one altogether, you end on like closing night altogether. And so that's something that I would say the bump in the road comes more from an emotional level of, if I am on a TV project, feeling like figuring out how do I create a feeling of like community, even if I'm only here for 2 days this week. Whereas in theater, you're there 8 times a week. So that's been sort of the difference for me that I feel like I'm still calibrating.
Makes all the sense in the world, but one of the potential fixes is you do a show like Hazbin, and then you all hang out at conventions and just like are the perfect pairings for each other ever, and you create one of the best communities.
Yes, we love hanging at conventions together. It's also the first time we got to meet the fans, and that's the other thing. It's in theater, you walk out and you get to meet the people who just saw the show. Whereas with Hazbin, it would not, if conventions didn't exist, we would never meet these people who adore and love the show. So that's really special. That was actually, I think, the moment where we all went, oh, we had no idea people were watching this.
A lot of people were watching it. A lot of people watch your stuff too, Katy. I have a big question about franchises, because in this industry, joining a massive franchise is one of the coolest gigs in the world you can get, but it's also one of the gigs that comes with the most pressure. So when you're jumping into, let's say, Marvel, Star Wars, or whatnot, what is a way that you kind of, recognize and respect why people care so much and why that pressure exists, but also free yourself from it so you could deliver your best work?
I feel like, fortunately, with Star Wars, I'm a character no one knows. So I don't have that, I'm not Luke Skywalker or something. I don't have that pressure of having to portray someone that someone is beloved to everybody. That's a totally different level. And then in Marvel, Jintora it was a totally different character. I don't know why they changed her so much, but they did. It saved me a lot of time in the makeup chair because she was green and blonde.
Yes.
Yeah, would have been a whole different Katy. So I think it's just, obviously, I grew up with Saturday morning cartoons. I love Spider-Man. I love X-Men. Watch the movies, and I can appreciate for sure some of the things that they do, as long as they kind of can understand why it's something that relates to people so much. So with X-Men, it's when you're a weird kid or a weird teenager or something, and people want to hate you for some reason, I don't know, sexuality or race or religion or something like that. That's really, I feel like that's something that X-Men in particular really tackles, and if they lose that in translation, then they've lost the entire thing. If they make it just about cool powers and, I don't know, sexy actors, you lose a lot of why people actually cared about the comic. So I think it's just that, and with a lot of the other things, I unfortunately am not as well versed, so I just have to put a lot of trust in the creators and hope that they love the fans and are doing the right thing for them. But I think, it's with a lot of the Star Wars feedback in particular, it's really interesting because you get people that are this is the most exciting, one of the episodes that I did is the most exciting thing. It really gave us so much information. It's what we've always wanted, what we've craved, whatever. And some people are I hated it. I hate you. You've ruined Star Wars. So, you
can't win.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you also can't win, and you just have to, really, like I said, you kind of have to trust the creatives. You have to kind of trust that that whoever it is meant to be for gets it and loves it and appreciates it too.
It's not an easy thing to juggle, but I'll also emphasize, because you brought up, Jintora, let's say, you are just an absolute ace at stepping into these massive franchises and taking a role like that one, for example, with less screen time than some of the other characters, and making her pop big time to the point that she resonates with far less backstory than the other characters get. And that's really a special accomplishment there. It's true.
I don't even know. I mean, look, when you put someone in a bikini and no one else is in a bikini, that was a fun character. That was a fun time.
Made a big impression. I mean it. All right, this is a really big question for all three of you. You can blame the movie Maxine. Has anyone seen Maxine?
Yes.
I know you saw Maxine.
We saw one another there.
So in that movie, Elizabeth Debicki plays a director, and she's making a movie. And at one point, she says that, like, if this movie pans out and it goes well, it's going to allow me to have a more meaningful voice in Hollywood. Ooh. So I started asking this because of that movie, and I'm going to hold tight to it because I like the question. For each of you, when you first got into this industry, how did you define having a meaningful voice in Hollywood, and how has that definition changed since?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's a great question.
Well, I think for me, I thought having a meaningful voice in Hollywood meant that you had to be a A-lister. You know, that you had to be like one of those names that everybody in the world recognizes and knows, and that they're, you know, these people that are in every other movie that's out there. And I thought that you had to get to that level to have any kind of impact. And I realized very quickly how wrong I was, because even when I was doing Vida, which was a show on Stars that not a lot of people watched, it's a show that I'm very proud of, but we just didn't have the reach that we wanted it to. But still, to this day, wherever I go, I will have people come up to me and tell me how much that show means to them. And that, to me, is why I do what I do, period. So I think it really changed my perspective on what success meant too, because I'm like, why am I even in this? Am I in this for the fame and for the recognition, or am I in this because I love the work and because I want to make people feel the way that I felt watching theater and movies and TV when I was younger, and that made me feel less alone, and that made me feel less crazy in the things that I was feeling. And so when you accomplish that, I think that's the goal, you know? Like, it's just to make people feel seen and to connect. And so I think that you can do that even in the most unexpected of ways, and in the things that you wouldn't even think that they're making an impact, they are. So I think, I don't know if I answered your question.
No, you did.
You did, yeah.
You did.
There's...
I really do think that's a beautiful answer and an excellent compass to navigating this industry in a way that delivers good work to all of us, but also something that is incredibly fulfilling and positive for you, and it has to be both every time.
Yeah. There's this saying, when you were talking, I was thinking about, like, there's that saying of, I'd rather be 9 people's favorite thing than 100 people's
title of show.
Title of show, baby. Musical Friends. But I do feel that way of, like, I think I felt similarly that, and especially as you keep going, you realize if you're an actor, if you're an artist, it never ends. And so if you are in this mindset of, I just have to accumulate more and more, you end up feeling totally depleted and unfulfilled. Mm. And if you keep trying to just be, I just want to be in front of everybody, I want all of that, you end up losing track of, I think, why you're even doing it in the first place. And it is these sort of specific projects that maybe didn't hit the cultural zeitgeist in a massive way, but that people go, I watched you over and over and over when I was 13 and I was in a dark place and you made me so happy. A thing that for me that I think changed was I'm a very optimistic person, and I used to think that in order to be effective or to be a voice, I had to sort of diminish that and kind of be like, I'm serious and artsy and I like feel this deeply. Sort of how Elizabeth Debicki is in that movie. An incredible performance, but that's sort of what I thought I had to be. And I realized, I was like, there's a way to not take myself too seriously and to just enjoy the art that I'm getting to make, and to enjoy sharing comedy and sharing optimism and things that are like lively and upbeat, and that has value as well. And that is something that when I think of the shows that I watched growing up, they were the shows that made me laugh, that I like kept coming back to. So that's a thing that I think when I was starting out, I thought, I'm gonna do Chekhov and like I will be deep and people will know me for that. Mm-hmm. And it's usually your superpower is the thing that you take for granted. And I just took for granted that oh, I tend to live on the optimistic side. And once I figured that out and decided to share that with the world, that's when things started to happen. So that's been, I think that's sort of how my viewpoint has changed. Yeah.
People need that.
Yeah, we need to laugh and have joy. Oh, God.
It's the tortured artist thing, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
I used to think that way too, of like, I have to suffer and I have to have like a sob story so that I can pull from it and then like be good and cry and like, you know, be like, you know, give those emotional performances. And I feel like,
And I love those performances.
yeah, they're
Like,
great.
Yeah.
But I also, like, you realize that I don't need to suffer to give a good performance, and I can be having fun because it is fun, and I can still tap into whatever I need to tap into.
Yeah.
I don't need to like go method or whatever. No shade to the method artist, although maybe a little bit of shade.
A gentle palm tree of shade.
Yeah. I just think that, I thought it was, you had to be like an A-lister or something to have influence in the business, or, you know, have your own production company or something. But when I think about the films, movies, anything that inspired me, it's not necessarily like the A-lister that was doing it. It was the role itself, or it was like the project itself or something. Yeah. And I just had this really cool opportunity to work with George Romero's daughter, who has a very limited body of work, but she wanted to do something to pay homage to her dad's legacy, but also kind of do her own thing as well, and use her voice. And it was zombies, but queer. And so we're talking like glitter zombies, and like it's fun. But because she had this project and she had this this idea and this thought of like respecting somebody who means something very dear to her, obviously, and in a genre that really is important to her, but making her own thing out of it. That's how we create a legacy, and that's how we create meaningful work. And so all of these really incredible artists that I was like dying to work with were on this project, and all of these amazing cast and crew and you know, producers and stuff for like no money. We're willing to do this project because it was something that we were all really excited about, and we all think is going to like push our limits, push creativity, push her legacy and all of that forward. And I think that that's like a huge part of it, and why we do what we do. I'm trying to be coherent right now. I have no sleep. I'm sorry. I had to watch Twisters last night because I hadn't seen it yet. It's like, I'm gonna watch that, and then I had to play with my dog for like an hour, and then I had to like, and then we're babysitting this cat, and it likes to wake me up at 3 a.m. by sitting on my face and punching me with his head. And then it was 5, and I'm like, oh, I gotta leave. So I hope that made sense.
There's nothing that makes more sense to me than losing sleep because of a cat, and also because of watching Twisters. That also tees up our very first clip of the panel quite nicely, because we have who has seen Twisters? Okay. I had a feeling it was a good chunk of you, given how well that movie's doing, but for anyone who hasn't seen it, you are going to fall in love with some of these characters in this clip right now. So let's roll our first clip from Twisters. So one of my absolute favorite things about the original Twister movie is how you fall in love with every single member of the storm chasing team, and the group dynamic is just off the charts. And I can confirm that your movie has that as well. What is the key to creating kind of that next level camaraderie that leaps off the screen in the movie?
You know, what I absolutely loved about this was we were all away from home. We shot it in Oklahoma, and we were there for months. We were in like places that just had coordinates, not like actual cities, you know. We're like all over the place. Our transpo vans are getting lost when we're going to set. It's like a whole thing. So there's a way to feel really isolated that way. You know, if you're on set, I feel like a lot of times now people are on their phones, or when you're off the clock, you're done. But Glenn, Daisy, and Anthony set a precedent right off the bat. We were going to have dinner together. We're going to hang out together. We're going to go to events together. We're going to find stuff to do to not only bond, but to like kind of keep each other feeling safe, feeling happy, feeling like we're part of a group. So it right away just felt like we're a storm chaser crowd. And you know, Storm Par as well, the bad guys. We hung out with them too. But yeah, I think that was it. It was great leadership right off the bat, and it also just felt like we were a family. And towards the end, like they're all great friends now. Like I want to hang out with them right now. We should. And by the way, no, I'm kidding. No, I'm sorry. Introducing for the rest of the seats. No, yeah,
I thought you were going to
they're
say that Brisket set the precedent.
Brisket did set the. So Brisket was a later addition. The dog, Glenn adopted a dog. We were all like following his journey. He's like, "Here's this dog I'm gonna get." And we're like, "Oh, it's so cute." And then we got to watch him grow, and we come to set. And then Anthony has a dog too. That Prince. That I don't think people are paying giving enough love to.
On the press tour.
Yeah, Prince wasn't featured. Prince is great too. So we had a lot of dogs. We had a lot of love, and everyone just was genuinely incredible. Like everybody was. It's like when you become friends with people on set, you're like, oh, they're like the most talented people in the entire world. But I genuinely felt that on this. Like Brandon Perea can do everything. Like everything, you're like, oh, can you do a backflip? So there's a backflip. He's doing backflips. He's a professional skater, like rollerblader / breakdancer / gorgeous model. And then everybody's just like, they're skyrocketing. Superman is on the set. And we all found out that he was Superman at the same. We're all like freaking out on set together. And there's a video that I'm sure someone will post one day. But it was just, it was awesome. I love those guys.
So the key to a successful set is love, dogs, Brandon Perea, and Superman.
Superman.
Yeah.
Every movie set needs that.
I don't see what the issue is.
I'm going to put you on the spot for a minute.
Yeah.
Let's say you, as in real you, had to create your own storm-chasing team.
Yeah.
Which 2 members of the Twister ensemble would you recruit that you would most trust heading into the storm with?
Well, it's just, I love all of them. I became closest, I would say, with Tunde and Brandon, so I guess I'll go with them.
Fair enough. Fair enough,
Yeah.
I'll take it.
And then if we don't make it, at least I got my boys. Yeah.
And backflips.
And backflips. We'll go out with style.
All right.
Tunde will sing a song.
We're going to jump from Twisters to a certain movie that I saw at Sundance this year and became one of my very favorite movies of Sundance. It's the ultimate genre mashup. We're going to get into it. I actually think this might be the very first look anybody outside of the festival circuit is getting at your monster right now. So you are the first people to get to see it. And I'll tell you, it's real damn good. Let us roll the tease of your monster.
That's what we ended.
I had a feeling that would play well, but I'll just tease. You have no idea. That shows the tiniest fraction of the range this one shows off in that movie. Melissa, the first question I have for you on Your Monster is, why particularly right now in your career for a movie like that? What gave you the itch to jump into an independent genre mashup with a first-time feature filmmaker?
I don't know that I felt like, ooh, this is the moment in my life to do this movie. I just got the script. I fell in love with it. I was like, I feel like this movie was made for me. I'm a musical theater girly, I'm a horror girly, and I'm a rom-com girly, and this is all of that in one. So I was like, did I order that upstairs, God? And did you send this to me? Because it feels like that. And it was like one of the best experiences of my life. We shot that movie in 20 days, and it was intense, and it felt like I was back in college, and I was just like making a movie with my friends, and we were like, kind of guerrilla style, just like making things work. And the dream was Sundance. While we were making it, we were like, oh, wouldn't it be awesome if we got into Sundance? Like, wouldn't that be like the best? And then the fact that we did, and it's Caroline Lindy, who is a genius. first movie, it was just like incredible. Like it felt like alchemy. It felt like magic. And I'm so excited for it to come out October 25th. It'll be in theaters. And I'm so excited for you to get like a cozy Halloween movie. Because it's like, you know, you're going to want to like cozy up with a sweater and just like watch it. And like, you're going to laugh so much and maybe get a fright or two. But it's genuinely just such a special, unique movie.
I still can't believe it's her first feature, because this is, like, any movie is ambitious. Any movie is a feat to make at any stage of your career. This is a genre mashup that feels so incredibly difficult to calibrate, and the only way it works is if you get it perfectly, and like she and you and the rest of the team do. You just mentioned that all of these genres feel well suited to you, but of all the genres we're going to see in your monster, which came most naturally to you, and which was the toughest for you to get just right?
I think the comedy aspect of it was hard because I was rusty. I hadn't done comedy in a while since I left Mexico, and I was doing theater in Mexico, and I hadn't really stretched those muscles because I feel like each genre kind of uses different muscles. And am I saying muscles correctly, or am I saying muzzles? Muzzles? Sorry.
No, muscles.
Second, English as a second language. Sometimes my hamster doesn't work. But anyway. What was I saying? Oh, that comedy. This is a character unlike anything I've ever done, really, and she's very theatrical and very dramatic, and very like wears her emotions on her sleeve, and Melissa, am the opposite. I am a fortress. And you will never know that I am suffering. And so it was like hard for me to like come out of my shell as Melissa and just be Laura. And if I had not had such an incredible director in Caroline guiding me and giving me the permission and like helping me to get to those places, I don't know that I would have given that performance without her. And that's why I'm so grateful that she believed that I could do it. I don't know who told her that I could, because I didn't even know that I could do it. I was just kind of up for the challenge. And I was like, if she's okay with me doing it and possibly ruining her movie, then I'll do it. But she saw something in me and knew how to push my buttons and you know, kind of captain me into certain terrains that I felt scared of going to. But then once I broke that wall, I was like, oh, this feels great. This is the movie that we're making. I got it. And then we just had a blast. And it was really cool to experiment, really, because I feel like as an actor, this happens a lot. You're good in something, and then all you get is that same thing, because the industry sees you as that only. And so it's really hard to get opportunities to go outside of the thing that you've already done. Yeah. So I feel very grateful that I got to do this and that I get to show that.
Can I ask a question? I know you have questions, but now I have two questions.
Let's hear them. Two,
but they can be quick. So how did you, knowing that this director had maybe less experience than others that you're used to working with, how did you decide that this was someone you wanted to work with, that you would trust that with?
Well, first of all, she was the writer of the movie. Mm-hmm. And so I read the script and I was like, this is brilliant. Mm-hmm. This woman is brilliant. But then for me, it's also important that we vibe as people, because you're gonna spend so much time together, and because of the nature of the role, like I'm almost in like every frame of the movie, I knew that it was gonna be like us together
whole time
in this movie. So I wanted to meet her and just get to know her. Mm-hmm. And we sat at Mel's Diner for like an hour, because she flew in I was in LA for 2 days. I had read the script and I was like, I'm gonna be in LA for 2 days. Is she there? She lives there. She was in London. She flew back to meet me. She went straight to Mel's Diner. We had dinner. We fell in love. and now we're married and we have 3 kids. Just kidding. No, but she flew back from London, and I was like, this is my type of woman. This is the woman that knows what she wants, and that she.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I would do that, because I would do that for if I was trying to get an actor, and they were like, they're gonna be here. I'd be like, let me buy my plane ticket, or let me get on a train, you know.
Yeah.
And so that also gave me an indication of the kind of person that she was. And then when I talked to her and I heard her vision for the movie, I was like, this is ambitious, and I like directors that are ambitious and that like want to take big swings and that want to take risks. And I really liked her as a person, and I liked her energy, and I was like, I think this is gonna be fun. So I was, you know, for me, that was it. I was like, I don't even care about anything, negotiate, whatever, but I'm in, and I'm glad I did it.
Was there a lot of
This is making me so happy, by the way. We always joke about doing like a pass it forward thing where I ask someone to give me a question to pass to the next ladies' night guest. So the fact that you want to ask questions is making me
I just need
overjoyed
30 more
right now.
minutes. What? How much? So I got to watch most of it, and then it's the comedic timing is so spot on that it almost felt like improv. So was there improv, or was that all scripted?
There was a lot of improv.
Okay, good. All right.
Yeah.
Fine.
Because otherwise, I was like, that I gotta.
Was that
the script.
indicated to you at the beginning, or was it on day 1 of set? It was like, you can improv this.
We did a lot of playing, so we didn't have the luxury of rehearsals because of the budget. So we weren't there together a long time, but as soon as we got there, we were like the same as Twisters. We were having dinner all together. Mm-hmm. It was actually the first time that I've hung out with a director so much, because usually the director's kind of like prepping the next day and like, you know, going to locations, and here Caroline was like, let's go read these scenes. And she'd be like, okay, read it as it is, and then we'd read it and we'd play, and she'd be like, okay, now throw that away and do whatever you feel. And then she'd be like, that, we're keeping that. And then she'd put it in. But then she was so flexible too on set, because even if we had rehearsed or set up what the scene was gonna be, in the moment, other things would come up, and Tommy Dewey, who plays the monster, is so funny, and his thing was, his goal the entire time was trying to make me crack. He just wanted to make me break and laugh, and he did a lot. I'm the worst at that. I always break, but we had so much fun. I don't think I've ever laughed so much shooting a movie. And I'm glad that it actually turned out funny, because it would have been awful if we just like, we laughed so much on set and like it's horrible. But it was fun, and what was fun about it is that it's a movie about an actress. So I play a musical theater actress.
Oh my God.
Which, like, hello.
So excited to see this movie.
And her biggest dream is like to be on Broadway. And we would rehearse, and when you're shooting a movie, you block a scene with a director. You get in, you block a scene so that you know where you're going to be in the space. You rehearse it, and then you call in the crew so that the lighting crew knows how they're going to light the scene according to where the characters are. And I've never felt this anywhere else, but like, it was like we were doing live theater. Like the whole crew would be like in doorways, and laughing so much. Like I've never experienced that. And it just really felt like everyone is in this. And when it's indie movies, like everyone's in it because they believe in the project and they want to be there because the money's not great and the hours are also not great. But it genuinely felt like everybody cared so deeply and was so invested. And so it was highlight, nice. That was one of I think that experience was like, I think I want to do indies. I think that's what I want to just keep doing,
It's fun. I yield my time to Perry.
Oh, gee, thank you. So now's the time if you want to answer a question during the audience Q&A Dicey Questions, hurry up and get up to that mic. We do have another clip to show right now. I'm very excited about this clip because this clip is going to be filled with a lot of laughs on screen and also will give you many a laugh out in the audience. So we have an exclusive behind-the-scenes piece for Hazbin Hotel Season 2. Oh, shit.
Yeah, honestly, they should.
Yeah.
They should release like a season 5, the season 2 plus that is just like the booth acting.
I could watch it for hours. I also don't know how many people in this room heard the big news today. We're not just getting a season 2 of Hazbin Hotel. We're getting a season 3 and 4.
Oh, wow.
That's huge. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Trust me, I'm going to bother you about more of that tomorrow. We have to talk about season 2 right now. Can you tell me, I know you're not finished doing your work on season 2 yet.
We are finished in the voice booth, but the animatics are still in progress.
In that case,
Yes.
I can ask you this for the entire season.
Yes,
or the
you
voice
can.
recording. What is something you accomplished with your voice work in season 2 that you know you were only able to do because of the experience you gained working on season 1?
I mean, I think I was so petrified in season 1 to do anything of my own. I was just like, whatever's on the page, I will do. Season 2 was fun because I feel like, I don't know, and I feel this is why it's fun sometimes to do something that gets seasons, because you get more comfortable with the character. So I felt a lot more comfortable improvising as the character, which I had definitely not done the first time because I just wanted to show the writers, like, I respect you, I like your ideas. But the second time, it's wild. You do, an ABC take, and then you kind of get to do as many as you want of your own. And I got to talk to one of the animators recently, and they were like, yeah, we're keeping a lot of your improvs because they were super fun. So that's great. And maybe they'll get cut for time, but that's just an enjoyable part of getting to sit with this character for a couple years, is feeling more comfortable thinking, okay, if she had to button this scene with something, what could it be? And we just get to come up with it on the spot.
Oh no, I'm putting you on the spot with this, but it just came to my mind. So you did a lot of improv. Is there any improv you did that felt like a really big swing that made you say to yourself in the booth, there's no way they're ever going to use this, but you're proud of it, you want us to know it, and that way we can look out for it when we see it in the finished show?
I know, I can't give you any spoilers though.
I know.
The character I play is pretty like PG. I did some R-rated improv that will maybe make it in.
It's a good tease, because that's
a good tease. I was like, I can't give you specifics, but there are things that the show is very adult. My character lives on the more child-friendly side, but she's surrounded by people. So I just thought, okay, she's got to it's got to permeate her at some point. So we kind of threw those in. I don't know if it'll make it though.
I'm going to look out for it now, and now I'm going to know it purely came from you if it happens.
From my little fucked up
I'll
brain.
ask you one more question before tossing it to our first person at the mic. So the last time we spoke, Erika, I asked you if you could swap roles with anyone in the ensemble, who would you choose? You chose Nifty, and you did a good Nifty impression.
Oh, there's a lot, yeah.
Now I specifically want to know if you had the opportunity to swap songs with anyone from season 1, who would you choose and why?
I just want to be Keith David. So, don't we all kind of want to be Keith David? Yeah. So, but this is the thing, I don't want to swap songs, I want to swap voices. Yeah, but I also think it'd be really weird if a person who looks like me walked out with Keith David's voice. But I would want to do that for a day just to freak people out.
I feel like literally any singer on this planet should want to attempt to sing Loser Baby at least once in their career.
Correct.
All right.
I would love
so
to.
Now we have a couple minutes for audience questions. What is your name? And then they're going to roll for you.
Where are they?
I don't know. My name is Andrew Casali.
All right, Andrew. Do we want to pick a number? Does anyone want to roll?
I'll roll.
We can roll. I've
roll
got
it
questions
into the
for you here.
audience.
Ready?
Oh no.
Wait.
I mean, give it a go. Let's see what happens. It's going.
Five again.
5 again.
Okay. You're getting this question that's called Screen to Reality. If you could pick something from a movie and make it real and have it in your own real life, what would you choose and why?
I think I picked maybe Spider-Man.
Yeah.
We approve of Spider-Man. All right. I think that's a solid choice.
Which one, though?
This is a great follow-up.
Tobey Maguire.
Tobey Maguire. Wow.
Okay.
Thank you for playing Dicey Questions with us.
Yes.
All right. Who's next? Well, I mean, we got to get the die eventually, but who's next up on the mic?
Hello, hello.
Hi.
What's your name?
Christy.
We get to ask.
Christy.
Christy, very nice to meet you, Christy.
New one.
Reroll.
Two. All right. Melissa, this one's Scream. There's only one question you can ask if the topic is Scream. What is your favorite scary movie?
Oh God. Oh God. Probably the first Scream.
Nice.
I'll take that. Can I put you all on the spot? Can we give her a recommendation for more horror movies? Who has one that they've seen recently and would recommend?
Recently.
What's the one with Ethan Hawke? It's...
Black Phone.
No, not Black Phone, the one that came before it. Sinister.
Ooh.
Go watch Sinister.
That's a good one.
I don't know if they qualify as scary, but I do think the Mia Goth trilogy is great.
Oh, yeah.
I do like Pearl, Maxine. Those were scary to me.
They 100% count.
Okay.
Yeah, they're horror movies.
I'm a baby though.
I don't know what the last one that I saw was.
Your Monster coming out October 25th.
Or Abigail, which I believe you could stream
Abigail.
right now.
Yeah.
Oh, you worked with Catherine.
All right. I think we have someone on the mic now, and you are going to be our last one.
Roll it.
Hi, I'm Rachel.
Can we roll
What's up?
Can we roll it into the audience? Can I throw it?
Yeah, throw it to someone.
Oh, duck. Everyone look out.
There you go.
Dun, 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 dun,
Careful.
dun.
What is it?
I saw cameras. I
If
was
it's the last one, it's okay that it's out there.
What is it?
Three.
Whoa, somebody
three
did.
is,
Who did the German three?
3 is movie memorabilia. Tell us about a piece of movie memorabilia that you own and cherish. A poster, anything.
Oh, well, I don't have a lot of movie memorabilia, but when I was younger, and I'm sure everyone in my age demographic who is of a certain sexual orientation had
Love it.
an Orlando Bloom poster
Yes.
during the Lord of the Rings,
Wow.
Pirates of the Caribbean
Love it.
Yes.
timeline.
Sexy elf.
I love this.
Thank you for sharing that.
Amazing.
I wish we could keep this going all day long. We're not allowed. I have to wrap right now. And as I close this out, I want to send a special thank you to someone who I think is out in the audience. His name is Adam Martinetti, and he edited the trailer you see at the beginning, and he's also edited every single episode of Ladies' Night for the past 3 years. So big round of applause to Adam. And to everyone out here who's been watching Ladies' Night, thank you so much. And if you haven't seen any episodes and you enjoyed this conversation, there are so many to watch on the Collider Ladies' Night YouTube channel. And now finally, to the 3 of you, like I said earlier, shows like Ladies' Night don't exist, panels like this don't happen unless there's people who are willing to believe in and support it. So you have my endless gratitude. I'm such a big fan of all 3 of you as artists and people. Congratulations on everything you've accomplished and everything coming your way. I can't wait to celebrate it all with you.
Thank you.